Welcome to the Decentralized Opportunity Podcast. This is our weekly podcast discussing innovative ideas in business and technology from unconventional and often overlooked sources. I'm your host, Tanner Lytle, and I'm here with my other host.
Wyatt Carson. Tanner, it's a big day for us, bud.
First guests.
Woo! Absolutely. Absolutely. Before we bring them on, Tanner, how was your week, bud?
The week's been pretty busy. It was Thanksgiving holiday weekend, so that's also my birthday weekend. So it's lots of things going on and lots of excitement, family. Also been working on a new landing page for our side project and all sorts of fun stuff. So lots to do, and just weekend kind of blew past me.
Yeah, I hear you. I have also been busy, and unfortunately not busy like Tanner in building landing pages and stuff like that. You might notice my background's a little weird. I'm doing this live from a hotel room in Georgia. I had to travel for work and tell everyone I brought my microphone. I'm still here, but yeah, very busy, very busy.
I
And
enjoyed that
back
you're
in
holding it
Nebraska,
like a game show host.
I did not bring a stand. That felt weird to pack in my suitcase. And God knows TSA would have stopped me for weird metal in
Just
my
a boom
suitcase.
arm. Just come
Yeah,
strap it to your
yeah, just
backpack.
no big deal, no big deal. But I heard it's very cold there in McCook. It was 70 degrees here in Atlanta yesterday. So sorry, not sorry, I guess.
No, I've been preheating rooms with my space heaters that we got because our furnace went out a few weeks ago. So we had to buy space heaters just to keep alive, basically. And then now we have a furnace, but still ridiculously cold. So I'll preheat a room before I go into it. But I do have the problem where I heat the room too much and then I get hot and uncomfortable. Like the air is cold, but then I just get kind of sweaty and uncomfortable, and I have to move out to other rooms just to cool down. So I need to figure that
No,
out.
no one needs to be sweaty. But let's stop beating around the bush. Why don't you introduce our guests, Tanner?
Yeah, so we are joined by David and Alex from Pahulu's, which is a local food truck restaurant here in Southwest Nebraska. They're also some of our longtime friends, and we were really excited when they accepted to join us and kind of share their story of starting their own company off in Southwest Nebraska. So, guys, if you want to just kick it off and tell us a little bit of who you are, your history, and just kind of about yourselves.
Heck yeah. I've actually listened to your guys' podcast, the last couple episodes, and your intro just gets better and better.
Thank
He's
you. I've
getting
been
better,
working at
right?
it.
Yeah, you have. Yeah. There was a stutter on the last one. You said something, and I was like, hey, he got it. Total recovery. But I'm Alex Rowe from Pahulu's,
I'm Dave, also from Pahulu's.
the ever so majestic Davy. And we're based out of McCook, Nebraska. But our truck goes all over the place. Second year into business, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Tanner said it best, old school friends. He's seen us from the beginning when we met over a few pints talking about websites and branding and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
we yeah.
Even book suggestions.
Even-
We did a little reading,
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
research.
The E-Myth. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Led us down that way and kind of helped us get along with a guy named Cody Dame, who's been like a kind of a consultant to us. And we're on our off season now, starting 30 days ago.
Yeah.
Because it gets so cold in Nebraska that we can't sell food on the side of the street.
Yeah.
Being how
No one
cold
wants
that
to be
is.
Sitting up for that.
So yeah, that's kind of who we are. Dave and Alex with Pahulu's, doing our best. Yeah,
No, that's great. You mentioned, you came to, we kind of met up when you had the initial idea of the company and gave you a few pointers. E-Myth Revisited is one of my absolute favorite business books of all time. But even before that, how did you guys come up with the idea of doing a restaurant, the theme of it, and everything about it?
oh boy.
And involved a few more pints.
If you, yeah, yeah,
How many businesses in history have been started just by that, I wonder?
yeah.
Probably quite a few.
Dear Lord, yeah. Dave, how long have you been cooking? Exactly. I don't even know.
I started when I was 16.
And you're how old?
37 now.
37.
So it's been a few years behind
and
the stove.
I was like 16 and I'm 26, almost 27. Kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? A mutual agreement that what we were doing in the kitchen for other people in the region, in the southwest Nebraska region we are at, is not what food could be. And we got really, really upset some nights of how, and I'm not talking smack on anybody, but how things were running, how menus were formed, ingredients were sourced, I would say.
Yeah.
Just
That general, like, you're tired of how the boss is doing it and you want to do it. You could probably do it this way, and you prefer this to actually happen.
Yeah.
So
exactly. And there wasn't enough danger, there was a lot of safe bets. And we had a lot of really risky bets that we kept talking about, pints and pints and bets and bets. And the original idea for Pahulu's, which we'll probably get into in more depth, was a fried rice truck.
yeah,
Various versions of fried. Yeah, that's what it originally was.
Okay.
we're gonna make fried rice, every kind of fried rice.
Because there's no Asian food in where we live in McCook.
So no competition.
And it snowballed into all these other dishes and all these other risky bets that we kind of couldn't just let go of anymore. We both left the restaurant industry.
Well, that was partially to do to COVID too.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Elaborate more on COVID and how that impacted your choice.
Yeah, we both worked through the loop during COVID.
Yeah,
and then
a local brewery. Yeah,
we both left, oddly enough, to different medical fields.
Yeah,
One worked at the hospital, and I went to Wellness Partners. So,
and
it's kind of strange timing, but
it was more of like there was a decline in the need to go out to eat for the most part, and the people who still went out to eat, in my opinion.
Well, it was also hitting brick and mortars really hard.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't, be in them. It was all to go.
And soggy by the time you brought it home. And
that's where we kind of played around with the idea of a truck would be pretty easy. You don't have any brick and mortar. You can sell outside. That was usually pretty good for COVID regulations.
And there was a I remember one night where we had some to-go sales in our old brick and mortar line cook jobs, where the people who were dining in didn't care about the regulation of the COVID regulation, and they ordered what they ordered. They didn't get any of our cool specials we made. They were upset. It took so long. We were railing tickets for to-goes. And the whole system of a classic sit-down lost its luster. But in the kitchen, it was popping. We were still having a good time. We were still doing everything we always did, but something shifted. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
We've never talked about that, but something shifted, and it just was not the same, and we just couldn't stop having a good time back there.
Yeah, that's really interesting because you found a new shift in the market, right? A new customer need just due to all of the changes and lockdowns and things like that. I didn't know any of that about you guys. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a whole thing. yeah.
And it kind of it kind of came out of the necessity for your own need for change. You guys have been in the business and the industry for a long time. COVID like many other people in lots of industries, started to burn you out a little bit, and you thought, you know what? And I love the phrase "pints and bets." Not only is that an amazing catchphrase, but it feels like the name of a book. But you saw a need in the market, and you yourselves were getting kind of burnt out in something you'd been in a long time, and that facilitated this, which is cool. Which leads us to our next question of, at what point did this come from? Did this turn into an actual start of a business, from having a few pints and saying we could do it better to actually building it, putting it together? What was the tipping point?
I want to ask Dave because I know my version.
Oh.
But I want to ask Dave, like, what's your version of that question?
Well, essentially, you gave me a call of, I found a guy that has a food truck and he's not using it, and he'd let us rent it. You want to give it a try? And I'm like, well, sure, why not? And that pretty much got things started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. My version of that was I was creating a taco in my house. Stick with me for a minute. And it had clementines on it. It had pork. It had a salsa from like Haiti. And that was just me being bored, getting off work from my hospital job. And I posted a picture of it somewhere. And this guy we know, his name's Gus, one of the best people I've ever met, said, "You should cook in my truck sometime." And I said, "I'll cook anywhere, anytime." And he said, "Come over and look at my truck." And so I went over to this truck, and it was a big red truck parked in this unmowed lot with nails and the gravel and stuff. And he opened the door, and it was just the perfect mobile kitchen. Like, the outside's a little rough. And me and Gus, I think we had a couple pints in the truck, and I was talking about the taco that he saw and stuff. And I texted Dave, and I don't know exactly what I texted you, but it was like, I found it. And then later that day, I showed him pictures, and it was just everything we talked about kind of came. And this is years. We probably brought up the idea of a business a year and a half before we found the truck.
Yeah, but I mean, that was like drunk talk.
Yeah.
We neither believed it was actually going to turn into anything.
And I found the truck sober. So if I had this feeling in my heart that this truck is what's going to become something, and I text Dave, and like later that day, yeah, it just kind of came together. And Dave said it right. That's exactly what happened. And I just texted Dave, "Found it. We got it. Come check it out." And we just immediately Google every legal question, every copyright question, every trademark, every logo question.
How do we start this?
How do we do this? How do we do that? We've never been trained on any of that stuff. And so pretty much it was just a ridiculous coincidence that this truck was not in use, able to be rented for a percentage, and we just relit the fire in between us that day.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not rambling, but that's
No,
pretty much what it was. Yeah.
That's a great story,
originally
guys.
we were just going to do like a couple events to see how we liked doing it.
Yeah.
And so we were just like, oh, we could just do one or two, because I think, what was it? It wasn't Heritage Days or something coming up?
It was a concert in the park.
Oh,
in
yeah.
McCook.
Okay. Yeah. And we're like, oh, we could do that. Maybe just to see if we can, make it work as a tester.
And then the state showed up and gave us a license, and we just burned the city to the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, so starting a restaurant, I imagine, like you're saying, has a lot of licenses and all sorts of things to go on. What is all of the, I guess, processes and everything to get a food truck or a restaurant started?
It's kind of scary. Scary easy. You can serve food and not have any license if nobody checks on you. But we didn't want to do that, because if we're going to put any amount of time, and time is money, prepping and serving and being the whole thing, we immediately started with LLC. We knew no matter what we would do, truck or not, catering or truck, two separate things in our still to this day our brain. We started with LLC. Everybody knows how that starts. You do the whole thing, lawyer, buyouts, all that stuff. But you just have to get inspected from whatever state you're living in, and stop me if I'm wrong. But
Well, yeah, that's pretty much it.
and you get inspected to have a commercial kitchen.
Well, originally you can get a temporary one that was just like you could do. Was it like 2 events and something? But then it was like for
2 events a year.
2 events a
For
year.
no more
but
than
then
8
but then it
hours.
was like for $10 more you get the whole year.
Yeah.
Well, let's just do a whole year.
Yeah.
Why not?
crazy.
I mean, it's only $10, so.
So we had a hand washing sink. We had fridges that came to 36 degrees. We had a fire extinguisher. We had a hood system, which is the exhaust, of course. And that's all you need to have a kitchen. Granted, all that costs a lot of money, but it was already there for us. And that's pretty much what it is to start a restaurant or a kitchen is get inspected. In Nebraska, $190 some. You're inspected, you're licensed for the year. Then once a year, they'll inspect you again to make sure all that's working. But to make money, of course, tax ID,
Yeah.
LLC was not necessary, but that's what we did. But taxes. So inspection, taxes. Choose how you make money, whether it's debit or credit or cash or magic beans. That's pretty much it. It's such a simple thing to start a restaurant. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but when it comes to like your logo, your branding, your menus, food you do, how did you come up with all those things too?
Yeah, that's when we switched to like the LLC, where it's more like our branding and trying to develop things more.
Let's go into that story if we can, just like really dissect our brand, which is what you're asking us to do.
Love
but
it. Let's do it.
So Pahulu's the name.
Just get it out of the way because everyone asked, where does Pahulu's come from?
So Davey and
we
I
might as well tell the story.
Davey and I found the truck. We have an inspection date. I think it was August 15th or something in 2021 or 2020. I didn't think I needed a business name for this license, and me and Davey came up with a bunch of ideas. Kita's from Journey to Atlantis.
Yeah.
That lady was so naming our business was that Kita's, Calypso's, something that was like broad enough that wouldn't be like we do hot dogs or we do brisket or we do this thing. We can do whatever we want under this umbrella of a name.
Yeah, we knew we didn't want like a specific deal because that would kind of lock us into like the taco truck makes tacos and it's like the Edo truck.
Taco
so like
Boys.
we wanted more broad so that we could make whatever. And then it would still be under our brand.
And we had all these ideas for names, and we get inspected, and she's like, "Cool, you pass. What's the name of the business?" And Dave's at work. I'm with the inspection lady, and Pahulu's is a name Dave didn't even want.
I didn't even know what that was.
No, he didn't even know. He didn't even know. I didn't even talk to him about it. And I'm like, Pahulu's, and she's like, "How do you spell that?" And I'm like, PAHULU''S. And she's like, okay. And the email, and I'm like, Pahulu's food truck at Gmail. She's like, okay, give me a second while I put this in. I'm creating the email while she's doing that. And I'm scared to look like a buffoon, so I think I texted you. Don't be pissed at me.
I got the text after the fact. I'm like, wait, what?
I just named our business, and that was pretty much the name. And it's a Hawaiian goddess of nightmares and like unluck and cursed fish, and I just pulled that out of my butt.
Interesting name for a food truck.
Yeah,
right?
Thank you. That's the you keep them guessing. Branding though came quickly after that. After I knew Dave was, I thought Dave was really mad at me. He wasn't. Thank you. Yeah. But branding came like the next day. What are we gonna look like? What are we gonna be? Colors. style choice, all that stuff. And Dave, actually, I'll let you kind of go with that because you came up with the tiki style logo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were a Hawaiian name, so kind of stick close to that because we also just love Hawaiian food too.
Yeah.
But also we did a lot of other islands, so like we did Jamaican,
Yeah,
we've
I forgot
done
about
Trinidad, like we did different like island stuff. So it was like, all right, we'll just kind of stick with an islandish theme. So, and then we had that's when we got in touch with Derek.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
graphic designer / just general artist, to come up with a tiki head logo,
Yeah.
that would embody food but also culture.
Yeah, we played around with that for
A long
months.
We actually stole a logo from. I went onto this free logo maker app thing, one of those like create your logo for $4.99 a month.
Yeah.
And I screenshotted it, cropped out their watermark, used it for a long time. I know the name of the company. Not going to even mention that. We
Let's
used
not.
that for a long time. Yeah, exactly.
That's
See?
That's so funny though. I bet
But
so many people
essentially-
do that.
Oh yeah, and that's why I didn't feel guilt, But we essentially came up with our logo
Yeah.
eventually, which it is now to this day, and that was and we stuck with our colors. We stuck with black and white.
Yeah. 'Cause,
Simplicity.
yeah, they just go easy with most like caterings or stuff.
Yeah,
Just black and white.
yeah. A lot of modern food is black tablecloth or black plates, white tablecloth.
Yeah.
That's pretty
And
much.
it's a classic for a reason.
Yeah,
Yeah. So.
and it's really cheap to print.
Yep.
And that's kind of the logo, the name, the brand. It's a little mysterious in the name and even in the logo, but we kept it that way on purpose. I think. Yeah.
That's so cool, guys. Great story.
I hope that
So-
makes any sense at all.
It makes great sense. So I'm curious. You're getting the branding. You're making a email address right behind the inspector.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. The beginning journey. What would you say is probably the biggest mistake you guys made in getting this up and running?
Dang,
That's
Wyatt.
a hard one.
That is you might have different ones than I. Biggest mistake. Say that one more time.
Yeah. During the startup, you're between getting the truck, getting your branding, your first gig, your first menu. What do you feel was like your biggest mistake you made early on? Nothing. It all ran perfectly.
No. I'm waiting for Dave to answer because I've never asked him that question. That's a great question. I'm trying to think as well. Whoever thinks of it first, just go for it.
We've been pretty lucky so far. We've had some hiccups, but
I think personally, ours, on my point of view, was the fact that we didn't set up a financial infrastructure and we ran off cash for a while and we lost a lot of money in taxes.
that's true.
We paid a lot more than we should have.
Well, no, we also didn't set up a distributor.
Yeah.
That cost us a little bit
We
too.
were ordering for like 2 months off of websites that were really highly marked up.
Or just going to Walmart and getting stuff.
Odds and ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Relying on bigger companies that are just raking in pennies and dimes every day from you. Also, trying to do it completely alone without our one employee that we have now. We sacrificed a lot of quality the first day.
Oh man, our first day we learned.
Yeah, see now
we learned so much in that first day because we had this whole grand plan of what we were gonna do because we were gonna do like chicken skewers, and we were grill them up on the deal and take them off and slide them onto the sandwich. And about 5 minutes in, we're already done with that entire idea. Yeah. We're like, throw all the chicken on the grill now. We have a whole line.
60 people deep. We're on the first two things. Like, nope.
Oh, yeah, it was hot. So we're like, and it was middle of the day. So everyone's standing in the sun. So we're like, all right, we just need to get food out as quickly as possible. So then, that was our chicken speedy.
Yeah.
So we sped it up to make it even faster.
And it was a combination of relying too much on our own without realizing the popularity of us and the taxes and the distributor. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Is there any other things that, like you mentioned, one, getting taxes up, distribution, and then just speed of, production? Is there any other points that you just like, man, if we would have learned this from the get-go, we would have just so much more smooth sailing just to go through?
There's so much.
Some of our catering stuff.
Yeah.
We've learned that we now need to set up contracts early on.
Yeah, that's a good one. Deposits and contract. Paper trail.
Yeah. We've had like some people be like, oh, well, okay, well, no, we need it this day now. Wait, no, we were planning on this day. We have stuff ready for this day. You can't just move it to next week. Our stuff is, it's perishable. So,
yeah.
So then it was like, okay, we need to lock you into contracts for this. That was that was a good learning experience.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, just solidifying things in paper anywhere we go, whether it's where we park, whether it's where we cater. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, you guys have, from the get-go, I remember because I was there with that first day with the chicken speedies.
Yeah.
And you had a huge line. I mean, how did you go about like getting your initial customer base, especially being in such a rural area?
That's diabolical.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of connections to different people around. That helped. And then like once that kind of word of mouth started going. Yeah. And then Alex.
Yeah.
I'll let him. He's the marketing behind most of it.
Stick with me for just a minute because this gets a little ridiculous. But I have always had a problem with people taking pictures from Google or any website and using it as their own for food. It could be retail too, or whatever. But so we've from the get-go took pictures of our prototyped product. Made it look really good. Made posts. We have yet to spend a dime on any marketing at all. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, really diversifying those posts and the same picture on all of them, but really wordy in how we sell it. I've yet to give a dime to promote on those. You guaranteed an audience of 10,000. Never, not once have I done that. But a backstory on the dish, backstory on Dave, backstory on me, different posts for each thing, the picture of our real food, the way we really try to have it presented when you buy it. Getting people excited, not even telling them, but being honest with them. This is the only day that this is going to happen. It's like a miracle aligner. If you want this sandwich that you're seeing here, here's the history of it. Here's how we came up with it. This day, this time, till we sell out. We always have a lot more than we say. Not to make people feel like we're going to sell out, but we always have a lot of food. But guaranteeing them it will be that way when they get there, and we're going to be as happy as we can be doing it because we're telling you the honest truth about how we did it, how it looks. That's really what it was. That's really it. It's kind of a secret, but yeah, just being really honest and wordy. Yeah.
authenticity and using your connections to get going. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool, guys.
And I'm always surprised, like, when we see people in the truck, like, we'll have people come up to us and like, oh, we came all the way from Grand Island.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I didn't even realize we reached that far.
Yeah,
We're like,
same.
All right, so we're reaching further than we were actually thinking we were even reaching.
And
awesome.
and Ellen, Tanner said this to us early on, before we ever even sold a boat of food, is that exclusivity drives the market. And we didn't mean for us to be exclusive. The honesty and the real connection, just being honest. But the exclusivity has driven us further than any diesel fuel could ever do. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Have you kind of found a theme like in who is your target customer or anything like that, or is it just a mismatch from everybody?
Yeah, we have.
Food, car show people aren't our people.
Yeah,
No, just not happening. Yeah. We're street food, but we're street food from around the world. Yeah. So if you're looking for nachos or sliders or corn dogs, we're not your business. I think, and you could please tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that we're in the market for adventurous eaters.
Yeah.
Open-minded.
The foodies.
People who like real ingredients made by hand, which a lot of that comes down to people who aren't maybe baby boomers, right?
It's okay to have an age demographic for your target customer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I feel bad sometimes saying that, but there are those that
in a general sense, yeah.
There are those, the outliers, who are that age and will still enjoy the hell out of it. But yeah, we've really noticed that. Yeah, we target
like
open-minded people, and whether the age or the religion or the ethnicity, it doesn't matter. But that's the demographic: open-minded people, open-minded and open mouth.
Have an open mind and an open mouth. That's a good slogan. We should.
There you go. There's your next Twitter post. Okay, so I have a question about technology for you guys.
Yeah.
So you've been in it for a year and a half, 2 years now. What technology do you use that helps you run the business?
Once we got card reader, that helped a lot.
Yeah,
as I say, the POS systems, that sort of thing.
We actually haven't gone to a full POS system yet.
We're old school.
We're still paper tickets.
We're paper tickets. We write it all down. Which, since we've worked in restaurants our whole lives, doesn't affect speed. I would say this computer, that we're talking to you on right now, has helped us organize invoices. Just like pretty basic, archaic stuff.
You guys keep it bare bones, and there's nothing wrong with that because it's working, and that's what you guys are used to. So that's okay. You don't need to have
you could do a lot of things with an Excel spreadsheet.
I do use Excel a lot.
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really sounds like, you guys are so focused on the food and the customer, you don't need all of the frills. Because a lot of times people, when they want to start a business, they feel like they need the tools. Oh, if only I had that better computer or that big ad spend on Facebook, that would make me successful. But you guys are just, nope, you're head to the ground, making food, serving customers. But more importantly, you guys are really coming up with unique dishes and things like that too.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
If you make good food, people will come. So
I'm pretty sure that's what that movie said. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, go ahead. Just to add on that technology aspect, once we turn off our generator, our electricity's gone. So we can't have a manager-based restaurant. There's a lot of companies that have like restaurant grade software that
Yeah.
will organize your everything. So once our power's off in our truck, dead space. So I feel like that's another aspect of us lacking technology, is that once our power's off, we have our cell phones that are probably dead.
And yeah, some places we've gone to, there's no service, so
Yeah.
it's pretty remote.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I just realized that. But yeah, that might be another aspect of why we lack a lot of that software and stuff.
No, that makes
To
sense.
circle back a
So,
little, just one second, to circle back to we were talking about your target customer and stuff. I'm really interested in knowing how you select places to park your truck and serve people, because that part is completely just foreign to me. I mean, I understand there's some events and things like that, but can you explain your processes and what you found successful?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's and Davey, if you have something to say first before I ramble on for too long.
Well, a lot of times they come to us. I mean, early on, we were thinking of a few events, but then people kept contacting us, and we got a lot of feedback. Like, oh, can we come here? Can we do this? And there's oh, that's a lot. We need to work out a schedule to figure out, make sure things don't we overlap things and stuff. So
There's and I feel like we equally do a lot of booking and research on where we're gonna go.
yeah,
We people know us and stuff. Where I hone in on, and Dave usually agrees with me, except for maybe 2 or 3 times, because we make international food. Places that are in such a bubble that it angers me. They've never tasted fish sauce with peanuts, with tamarind paste and cane sugar. Yeah. You know what I mean?
yeah, the food desert areas.
Food deserts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
You find this food desert, and you have this wagon of hope, and you kind of bring a wagon of hope around. I mean, that's I truly spiritually believe that there are food deserts, and you have to bring the water. Yeah. That's kind of how I hone in on places to go. And this next coming year, we're going on even more deserted places.
yeah. We're hoping to hit a lot of more the little towns around the area.
Yeah. So yeah, food desert and yeah, oh yeah.
And you find a lot of positive response from that, and good amount of people show up. You do a good amount of business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even on days that we think our food isn't exactly what it was when we test kitchened it, we can be like, dang, that's too salty. And they're like, that is fantastic. And we're like, thank you so much. But man, you should have had that last week. Yeah, it's just damn. Yeah, it's unlimited positivity. There's only a couple times.
and it's always nerve-wracking going to one of those new places that we've never been to before, and it's okay, are we going to get a turnout? What are we going to do if we don't get a turnout?
Holdridge, and we sold out in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
We're like, whoa! Yeah.
Drive all the way there, set up, and be like, oh, I really hope people show up. And then it's all right, we're sold out. All right, let's back it up and go home.
Yeah, they're tagging us. They're posting about us. Our pictures of our food, and looks the same as the thing we made. Yeah, it's the whole thing.
So much of the message that we want to have in this podcast is there's so much business opportunity in these rural places, because it's not only that we're flyover country, we're not even connected to the interstate. We're not even drive past part of the country, but there is just so much opportunity that's there if you can, again, find the people who serve what people want. And I, for one, would have never guessed the amount, the type of food you have would have such a positive response. I mean, that's why I was so thrilled every time I've been to your guys' truck. I had to wait in line for 45 minutes plus a lot of times, not because you're slow, but just because there's so many people ahead of me. So it's pretty fantastic.
It's truly amazing what you guys have done, and you took a concept that is really unique to the area. You know, I don't live in McCook anymore, but I did for many, many years, so I know the demographic. I know the area. Tanner's right; it's not even a drive-by state. It's like the town in the movie Cars. You know, but you guys took something and then you spread it, and you kept going, and you hit these small towns, and you treat them like they feel special. These towns don't get food trucks ever. So when you come, that's why you're getting that turnout. And both of you have a magnetic personality. Your kindness and your passion bleeds through so easy, guys. So just mad props. This is really cool what you guys are doing.
Well, thank you.
That feels real good because sometimes you feel really alone on the paperwork side, and you feel really alone.
Chopping vegetables.
I have felt so much more alone chopping peppers than I have actually alone. Yeah, so that feels good that you say that. We're spreading that butter like it's ghee on toast or whatever. I don't know, I'm making that up.
You almost had that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it felt right.
You were nailing the analogies earlier. Okay, so this you kind of segued into a really great next question is what's next for you guys? Next quarter, next year, long term. Have you guys and I don't want to sign you up to hold you against something, but where are you guys thinking this is going?
Well, yeah, I kind of already highlighted some of that, but yeah, I'm thinking a lot more like hitting a lot more of the smaller communities around, because like we've been to like from McCook to Kearney, but then it's like we haven't even been to like Binkelman or like Arapahoe or like even Curtis, like even like any of the small ones around.
For everyone who's listening, these towns they're talking about less than 2,000 people, some less than 1,000. So, those who don't live in Southwest Nebraska, Kearney is the big city, okay, and it's not. It's what Kearney's 30,000, and they're talking about hitting towns in the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 population. So I love your guys' commitment to the small town, and that's why we invited you on here, and that's really cool.
That's exactly, you said that best. Yeah, we more bold, I would say, for food choice. We have used, like, for instance, Japanese yakisoba. We will take that. We'll take that dish. We'll source as much as we can locally. So we'll take these onions from 10 miles south of where we live. These peppers from, 2 blocks from where we live. For our banh mi, the jalapenos from my neighbor. Pork from 50 miles away, and we'll try to make these dishes international with what we have in these little tiny towns. But I think we're growing more and more towards dishes that we are creating.
Yeah.
So not only going to smaller towns, but reinventing or inventing or infusing different things together in the future to create food that does not exist yet in these tiny towns. It's just bizarre. Yeah. Like our tacos, for instance, are Haitian.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say Mexican, but
German. And the Indian ones.
And it's all one thing. And
those are a big collab.
And those menu items have created bigger responses than us copycatting like a traditional Japanese yakisoba. Doing it right. So yeah, that's in our future too. Is creating more stuff that's just us.
Yeah, we take a certain deal because like a lot of times in some of these smaller areas there's nowhere to get a banh mi. And so, like, no one's even, like, heard of it. So we want to make sure, like, some of them, we really have, like, the authentic thing. Because this might be the first time. And trying something, we want to set that as a good standard. So then they'll be more open to maybe, like, trying a different one. Or doing some other thing.
And spreading that first bite of something foreign to them.
Yeah.
that's
show
in
them
our
it's not
future
that
too.
scary.
Keep that momentum of sharing the first bite of something that's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah.
That maybe
Love
they
it.
love this and they just didn't never know.
Yeah, absolutely love it, guys. That's fantastic. Not unlike when we met up around for a few drinks and talked advice and business stuff like that. What advice would you give to someone now who's looking to start their own business, irregardless of it being a food truck? I mean, like, hit on a few food truck specific things, but then just general business. If they want to do restaurant, if they want to start their own retail store, software company, whatever, what advice could you give somebody?
Yeah. There's a lot.
Do a lot of research.
Google the
Yeah.
hell out of it.
And most people are willing to like help you out with it if you ask them.
That's what I was gonna say. Keep the people the friends and the people you know that know about insider back half stuff. I don't know if that's
stuff.
yeah,
The behind the scenes
behind
stuff.
the scenes stuff. Really lean on them. Ask for advice. Don't try to do it alone. Get insurance. Get lots of quotes.
Yeah.
Don't stop asking insurance questions. Definitely, and I think the E-Myth said this, but aside from leaning on people you know and who know about the behind the scenes and all that, I forgot what the hell I was saying.
I don't know.
Damn it. Yeah. Hear me. I do this a lot. Really, don't focus on we want to make food or we want to make an app or we want to make a shirt that is the best shirt. You need to focus on everything that's behind that.
Yeah.
The money, I think the E-Myth is what I was talking about, is you can't focus on the pies. It's how you get the pies to be sold.
You already know how to make that.
Yeah, if you're going into a business, you already know
The real part
how
is-
to do that thing. You don't know.
Look at the things you
insurance,
don't
though.
know and really focus on that because that's going to be what's going to come up a lot.
Yeah, focus on the stuff you don't know. Focus on the stuff that
Like marketing,
marketing,
making a label, and
photography, logo, taxes, insurance, like all the stuff that gets that pie to that person or that software or that t-shirt or that new shoelace. Forget about the product. Focus on the foundation and the back work.
yeah,
Does that make any dang sense?
which is
I don't-
the non-fun part.
Focus on the stuff that's not fun at all,
Yeah.
because that is going to make you have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least you'll be
So
able
you
to
get
sleep at
that
night.
foundation set, so you can then focus on your product and customer and actually
Yeah.
enjoy that and execute on it consistently.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really focus on that. Yeah. Because if you
Awesome.
if you don't, you'll hate your product because you're so worried about everything.
Or
else.
you'll spend all your time working on it and not actually doing any of the other stuff you need to get done.
Yeah.
Love it,
Yeah,
guys.
I'm going to misquote this. I think it was Henry Ford. I don't know. Someone said, a business is its summation of its processes. And what you're talking about, the back end processes make the business. It's not the amazing, unique food you guys are doing, which, I mean, that's what's driving your customer base. Don't get me wrong. But behind the scenes, people don't see the work you put into it and the process that you have to develop to make it work long term, right?
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Yep.
It also makes you really consistent, which I know you guys have been, where because you put in that effort and developed those things and you've practiced it and you've done it right, then every customer who comes to you for that sandwich, your sandwiches are consistent. Or the next thing, you consistently deliver a high quality product. And a lot of times, again, once you get so frustrated, like you were talking about, because you don't have other things right, then that's when your product slips and that's when you lose your customer. And then it all just kind of crumbles from there. So love it, guys. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, my old chef used to tell me all the time, you can't sacrifice quality for speed. You have to slow down, approach it slowly, so that when you are creating your quality product, all that speed that you've created, like no matter how fast you can create and produce and make income, but that whole process up to that is really what it's about.
Well, all right, guys, we're near the end of our podcast
Yeah.
here. I know for me, next time I'm in McCook, let's get together. Brews and bets. That's what we're doing next time, guys. Okay, brews and bets. I love that phrase.
Good idea.
But I'm gonna bring it to Tanner, and then we'll give you guys your spotlight to tell us where people can find you. Okay.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm going to name the podcast Brews and Bets because that's perfect. Great title. Yeah, no, I really want to thank you guys for coming on and sharing your story. Really excited when it's not your off season. But until then, if you want to kind of tell people where they can, learn about you, get in touch, especially if they do want some catering stuff, where can people get a hold of you?
We're unconventional in a lot of ways. We don't have a real phone number by design, except for my personal phone number on our card, which Dave is pulling out, which he'll show you, I'm sure. But the best way to get a hold of us is Pahulu's food truck at gmail.com. I check it all the time. We own Pahulus.com. It goes to our Facebook page, I think, because we're still working on that website. But on Facebook, Pahulu's LLC, Instagram, Pahulu's Food, Twitter, Pahulu's Food. If you just shine a flashlight in the sky and just like wave some like roasted bok choy, we will catch on to that and we will probably find you. But yeah, Pahulu's LLC.
But only
on
under the
Facebook,
quarter moon.
only quarter moons.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Right now, it's that Pahulu's food truck at Gmail. That 541-729 number on the back of our card, which I think I listed now on our social media pages. And the website's coming, and a catering menu is coming. It's just a slow burn. We're doing everything we can. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
so
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I was really nervous, but no, this is cool. I hope we made a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
And I hope
Yeah,
I hope we make a little bit of sense somewhere.
Yep. And I hope you guys start your own podcast because now you know it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd plug my podcast, but it's not a professional one, so I'll leave it at that, and you can find it somewhere else.
All right.
Love it.
Well,
Well, yeah,
great.
thanks, guys. This is our first interview on this podcast, and you guys killed it. Thank you for your time.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for letting us be creative with you.